Good morning. I'm Hassan Giordano, and this is your DMV Daily Dose for Friday, November the 1st, 2019.
It's currently clear and 42 degrees in Baltimore. Today's high will be 51 degrees, and the low will be 41.
The San Francisco 49ers remained unbeaten as they barely squeaked past the Arizona Cardinals last night in Thursday night's football matchup 28-25. The team, who I'm sure is still feeling a little bit bitter from when our beloved Baltimore Ravens beat them in the Super Bowl a few years back, will come to Baltimore in a few weeks with a chance of the Ravens giving them their first loss of the season. The Baltimore Brew is reporting on what could possibly be the largest settlement of its kind in Baltimore, where the city will pay $8 million to a cadet who was accidentally shot in the head by a police officer during a 2013 training exercise. Raymond Gray, a University of Maryland police recruit, was left with severe brain damage and other serious injuries, including the loss of an eye. The payout, approved yesterday by Baltimore Mayor Bernard C. Jack Young, and the Board of Estimates, is striking given the payments the city has made in other cases of dire or deadly mistakes and misconduct by Baltimore officers. One obvious comparison is the $6.4 million paid to the family of Freddie Gray, 25-year-old man whose 2015 encounter with the Baltimore City Police Department ended in his death. But that settlement was a notable outlier. It exceeded the combined total of more than 120 other lawsuits brought against city police for brutality or misconduct between 2011 and 2015. Between fiscal 2016 and 2019, the city paid a total of $5.3 million to claimants of police brutality, or 65% of yesterday's single settlement, with another $7 million paid, mostly to outside counsel to represent Baltimore police officers in those cases. DMV Daily News is reporting on the tweet that made national headlines yesterday. And no, it wasn't from President Donald Trump. In fact, it was a tweet from Anthony McCarthy, which included an official statement from former 7th District Congressman Kwesi Mfume, who stated that he will make a major announcement on Monday, November 4th at 12 o'clock noon at the Reginald F. Lewis Museum, where he will likely announce his decision to run to fill the vacancy of his old seat. Speaking of the special election to fill that seat, held by the late U.S. Representative Congressman Elijah Cummings, Maryland Matters is reporting on the nightmare that it is presenting state elections officials with a unique set of challenges as the special general election is set for the April 28th real primary election, which coincides on that exact day. So not only could voters in the 7th District cast votes for different candidates for the same seat on that day, those separate elections might also be on the same ballot. The State Board of Elections is still working out exactly how ballots for the two elections should be designed, including whether voters in the 7th should receive two different ballots to cast or just one ballot with a special section for the special election. We're still trying to figure out the mechanics of the ballot system, but we're hoping that it will at least be on a separate page, said Donna Duncan, Assistant Deputy for Election Policy. The board voted Thursday on emergency regulations that will extend same-day voter registration, which is only allowed in state law for regular elections, to the special election process as well. They're trying to align it with the special election process. Now, another emergency regulation will allow early voting for the special general election so that it can coincide with the early voting period for the regular primary. I know it's a little confusing. Once they take effect, the emergency regulations would remain in place for 180 days. Now, the special primary, in which Democratic voters are likely to produce the district's next representative, is scheduled for February 4th. My suggestion to the Board of Elections, as an elections expert, is that they do have a separate ballot, because during a primary election in April, only Democrats or Republicans can cast their ballot for the primary election of April 28th, the real primary that was already scheduled, while the special general election will be available to all voters, Democrats, Republicans, third parties, and independents alike. And so you don't want the confusion of those voters being given a ballot that has both races on it. Now, speaking of elections, the Baltimore Sun is reporting that Democratic presidential candidate Senator Kamala Harris will cut staff at her campaign's Baltimore headquarters as a part of an all-in Ohio push leading up to the first caucus in the nation. In a memo Wednesday to staff, Harris's campaign manager said that the team would reduce the size of our headquarters staff, but did not provide specifics on how many people will be laid off. Quote, "We face an incredibly competitive resource environment," said Juan Rodriguez, who wrote this in a memo that the campaign provided to the Baltimore Sun. He goes on to say to effectively compete with the top campaigns and make the necessary investments in the critical final 100 days to the caucus, we need to reduce expenditures elsewhere and realign resources. I'm your man, Mr. Politics, and this has been your Daily Dose for Friday, November 1st, 2019. For more information on the articles that I've mentioned, just go on over to our website, www.dmvdaily.news.